fans of all ages, Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, J-Bird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn.
Welcome. It is a wet Wednesday here in the Quad Cities, but it's great here in the studio. We're having blast. We have a special guest today from Moline, Brad Dye. He is going to provide us with all kinds of fun Quad City things about the Masters, which starts tomorrow. Brad, welcome.
Thank you.
The Masters is tomorrow. I got my picks in at Harrington's.
Yeah.
My 10 golfers.
I did too.
I got yelled at that I went basically chalk, except for I went outside a little bit because you have to throw one person in, so I threw in Sergio in the mix. I'm going to play some bets with our friends at Elite Sportsbook. I still am going with Justin Thomas to win.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Brad, who you got?Id you get any pools or anything like that?
No, but I love to follow the hot guy, and right now I'm going Spieth all the way.
See, I wrote Spieth down too. I had picked Tiger at the beginning of the year, but he got hurt. Well, got a car accident. and then I thought, all right, Brooks. I think Brooks is going to do it this time. Well, then Brooks just had a surgery less than a month ago. There's no way he's going to win this tournament. I'm sorry, unless he's some sort of Superman. But I think Spieth's going to win it now. Dustin's going to play tough as usual. I mean, I think I looked at Dustin Johnson's last 5 Masters, and they're all like top 10 finishes. It's insane.
He's got, but it's back-to-back is tough to do.
Yeah, it's tough to do, but you got to think about this. In 19, he finished second to Tiger by stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2020, he won.
Yeah.
Which is less than
But
less
they're
than
gonna.
5 months ago.
Here's, with my extensive research in the Masters, because I'm big into golf. Here's what I understand.
Yes, Jay.
The people that are.
Jay Nance. Go ahead.
The people that are in charge of the green jacket giveaway.
Yeah, that's kind of a green jacket looking shirt you got.
I did it on purpose.
Oh, you did?
I did for you. Mulligans. That's a golfing thing.
I know that term well.
Yeah. So.
What does it mean, Jay? What's a mulligan?
Means trust me, I have taken a mulligan on. Okay. Many times on just one hole.
Make sure you knew.
On one hole.
On one hole.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as they introduced me to that term, I used it quite a bit. I was like, wait, what do you mean?
Very liberally.
Yeah, every time,
okay.
right?
All right, got
it. So, the people in charge of the green jacket, they do not want to see another minus 20. And that's what he shot.
Yeah.
So, they're going to change some things up. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's running a little... the greens are a little rough.
That's what they're saying?
Yeah, they do not want to see that. They want it to be somewhere around the minus 12, minus 14. That's what the report is coming out.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I can say. I haven't got through my entire podcast. I got a few more.
So what's par? Do you know what par is?
Par is 288.
All right. So what did you put down for your tiebreaker?
I think I put it at 14, minus 14.
So you put it at 274?
Yeah.
See, I put it at 277, 276.
Okay. So you think it's minus 12. So you're
with
the greenies, the green jacket guys.
Yeah. It's usually right around there.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then you get a guy like Woods or DJ. They're just, you can't stop them.
Brad, T-Roy's going to ask you the majority of the questions because I really don't know a lot about golf. I will tell you this. In November, I made one heck of a pimento cheese sandwich.
He did.
Using the recipe. I made a good egg salad using their recipe, but mine's better. So that's about the most I can say about the Masters. Outside of this is the one golf event that I watch out of the year, and every other year when they have it, I watch the Ryder Cup because I like to cheer against the guys across the seas.
Yeah.
Well,
I like to go America first.
My boys worked on the grounds 5 years and 3 years, respectively, and they've had many pimento sandwiches at $3 a sandwich.
That's right.
The hardest thing at the Masters is just to get in. If you can get in, you can get a beer for $3, a pimento for either 2 or 3, and a cookie for $1. They don't change the prices. So that's the coolest thing. They also say the day to go, if you have a choice, is the par 3 day. He said it's like the first day of spring training where the players are accessible, they're laughing, they're not tight, they're fun to talk to. So that's one of their big things. And the other thing is the older son realized he had a once-in-a-lifetime chance, so he took his camera, which was allowed only on that day, and has great pictures of him up at every hole in Amen Corner, and it's just absolutely beautiful, along the flower beds, everything else. And the grounds crew said, we'll do it for you today. It's the only day you can have it, because otherwise no phone. So we have some great memorable pictures on the wall.
Cool.
Yeah, on the wall.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I have heard stories of people, the Masters not having their phone or whatever else, and this is obviously going out to the older generation, the younger ones that are like the kids that are listening in high school or whatever else. They don't remember what it's like, but they just said like not having their phones and running into someone they knew was like running into someone in the mid 80s, like in the mall that you didn't expect to be there. They're just like, you're here, this is awesome, like they just got to run into him.
You become a slave to the leaderboard, because that's the only way you can find out on a travel on Saturday or on the big move day. So he said you feel like you're back at Fenway Park, back before screens and everything else, or Wrigley with mechanical things. So they always stayed within eye shot of a board to see what was going on. And the cool part about that course, it's tight enough that you can hear a major uproar 3 holes away. The younger one was on the course only a hole away when Spieth put those 3 in the water, I believe. And
So
he said there was a groan, then there was an oh no, and then there was an absolute silence. So he knew something bad had happened.
That was the year Danny Willett won, came from behind and won, right?
Yeah.
On the Sunday. Okay, yep. See, I know some things.
So, all right, the reason that Brad's here, Jay, so on Easter Sunday, we got introduced and kind of started talking about golf and the show and whatever else. And he had this story of a Quad City, and that got, Brad, you got to help me out with the story, so I'll let you just kind of, but he was a Quad City that played in the Masters, an actual Quad City. And so
he was a Moliner by the name of Jim Jameson, who just passed away within the last year or so. Jimmy was the most gregarious. He was kind of physically, he looked a little bit cross between Billy Casper and Bob Murphy, if that kind of gives you a visual. But anyway, nicest guy in the world. So he was going to try out for the varsity team at Moline High School. My dad happened to be the golf coach at that time, and sophomores were verboten. They were not supposed to even be considered until they were juniors. But anyway, as good as he was at 14, he had won some amateur titles and all that. So he showed up at Bluff right before the last group went out, and they did have an opening, but my dad was trying to hold tight, say, no, we can't do it, Jimmy. They won't want to allow sophomores. Well, 2 other coaches that coaches always played the last round behind the players were the very famous and honorable Don Morris, who was the Alleman golf coach, and then Dubuque had a guy down. You guys might know him from Iowa. Johnny Orr was the Dubuque High School golf coach then. So they were egging my dad on. Oh, you got to give him a chance. There's only 2 in that last group. Let him tee off. So they let him tee off. First hole, if anyone knows Indian Bluff, he put it just about on the fringe and used a 7-iron. That's what the players were saying, because of the cut of the grass, and hit the cup. It didn't go in. Tap in for a birdie. Long story short, he finishes with all these seniors and juniors, and he comes up to my dad afterwards and goes, Coach Dye, where do I put the scorecard? He goes, Jimmy, I'll take it, but no promises, no promises. I told you we're not supposed to allow sophomores to play. And Morris and Orr and a few of the other coaches were standing behind. They had already heard from their players what Jimmy had done the front 9. So they said, Mr. Dye, Jack, you better look at that scorecard. He goes, no, I don't want to look at it. He opened it up. Jimmy shot a 30 on the front, which was 36, so 6 under, pretty good. So my dad kept his head on the scorecard, thought about all the consequences, and then raised up, shook hands, and says, welcome to the varsity.
That's awesome.
So then Jimmy went on to play for the PGA.
Yes.
Now you said he went to college where?
I believe Oklahoma State is where he played. Great program at the time in golf, and he was immaculate around the greens. His game was complete at 15 when he was a sophomore. My dad said as a coach, he wanted to stay out of the way for the most part, other than just a little grip change on the putter and something else. That was it. So when Jimmy went to qualifying, he was keeping my dad posted on everything. Of course, everybody in Moline, Jimmy belonged to Oakwood Country Club, the old one on the hill there, and everybody was pulling for him, of course. Nicest guy in the world. So Jimmy made it. And so he tried to putt with his putter. That didn't work out too well. It was just too heavy. So he sent it to my dad as a gift to help with his putting. Jimmy went on not only to qualify, but he won the Western Open in 1972 before they went to Butler, before they went to Medina, and now I believe it's at Dubsdread or Cog Hill. So he won at Sunset Ridge Country Club, but he won easily. Then the next year in 73, he was actually at one time the leader on the board at the Masters, round 3. And not at the end, but somewhere in the round, he was still ahead. He ended up in a tie for 3rd. So I believe, I know Jack Fleck's from the area and all that, but I can't believe anybody got any closer at the Masters from the Quad Cities than Jim Jameson. So,
Wow.
Yeah, and he was just, like I said, just the nicest guy, a gallery player, kind of Lee Trevino in him. He would just always be friendly. And when he would come back for our Hardy's Open and the Ed McMahon Open and whatever Open, he always found people and called them out by name and wouldn't tee off until they came up and shook his hand. So, I got to caddy for him once when I was in high school. Or actually, he was in high school. I was a kid, but it was just a tournament at Oakwood, and I tried to learn a lot that day and keep my mouth shut. But he was just genuine gold. He was a great guy.
Now, the Hardy's Open used to be played at Oakwood, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Yep. When they first moved to the new course now, it was. And they brought in some heavy hitters the first couple of years, so they did okay. Ed McMahon and Jerry Lewis. I mean, there were some Woods. Tiger as an infant almost had a Norman, and I forgot the other. There were 3 in a challenge, and that was quite the show too. But Jimmy never forgot the Quad Cities. He worked at the Jacobs School of Golf. West Virginia. He was always tight with there as a coach, and always sending money this place and that place. So I was very honored that my dad helped get him, and he should have been enshrined in the Hall of Fame at Moline High School. And then, of course, Quad City Times salute. They put him in about 2 years ago.
Oh, cool.
3 years
So
ago.
now you brought the putter.
Yes, I
So
did.
for those people live on Facebook, you want to grab it, Jay, and show them. So this is the putter. Tell the story behind this. You kind of alluded to it a little bit, but give the whole story on the putter.
It's a 1962 presentation, Frank Johnston presentation model. So anyone that goes back that far might remember that. It was kind of the Cadillac of putters at that point. If you look at it, it's got a little bullseye where you would line the ball up, not like they have now with rangefinders and everything else. They got sonar radar. But anyway, that was a putter he used in college and some of the qualifiers. And then he realized that the greens were just lightning. And it was just a little heavy for him. Although you can hit that thing if he could, Jay could tell you how heavy it is.
Oh, yeah.
You can hit through 3 cuts of grass if you wanted to. So when he realized he couldn't use it anymore, he sent it in looked like a big flower box to my mom and dad's house. And my dad opened it up thinking, what is this? And it was a putter. And my dad kind of cried because Jimmy just said, you helped me with my putting, coach. You can have it now. I know you always loved it. So it stayed in the family now this year next year it'll be 60 years old.
Is this about 20 ounces?
Yeah.
At least, right?
Yeah, at least. It's
That's
heavy.
something.
Links course, I'm telling you.
I mean, it might be 24 ounces.
Great on a links
And
course.
you still use it?
Yes, I do. Yes,
All
I
right,
do.
that's great.
Keeps me from going too fast on the ball. I never pull a ball
Yeah.
on the green.
That's a great story, Jay. See, I don't just go out on Easter and just meet anybody. I meet quality people when I go out on Easter.
I don't know what
And I'm not giving
I don't know what
Sissy
I'm
Wint
bringing-
any
yeah.
credit for this.
I don't know what I'm bringing to the
Whatever.
show, but now I see what
I'm
you're
giving it to
bringing, so.
Pam. I'm giving it to her mom.
So, I mean, that's amazing. I'm glad that he got into the Quad City Times Hall of Fame, and obviously should be in the Moline. I mean, that's just all of that is this is what we need. Sometimes we forget the rich history that we have here in the Quad Cities of some of the athletes that we've had in the past, and everything's always changing. And we have new athletes all the time, but we still need to for lack of a better word, salute some of the people before us that made this area such a hotbed for some athletes that have gone on to do great things. So as far as the Masters, and your kids worked there, you said 5 years and 3 years respectively, and they've gone and seen all that stuff. It's got to be, they've got to have amazing stories outside of you shared the speed thing and the food. It's just, it's something that's completely different. And it honestly, I know I'm a sports fan, okay? But for someone who really doesn't care for golf that much, I know what a big deal it is. Like, and you learn right away that maybe it's something important when you're growing up and your friends that are golf fans, and you try to get them to do something on a Sunday and they tell you to stick it because they're busy watching the Masters. You realize right away that it's something more important than just to play pickup wiffle ball or basketball that day.
I mean, yeah, I grew up, my dad wouldn't know what a golf ball is if it bit him. But as a kid, I mean, I remember in '86 when Nicholas won. When it wasn't that his last one that he won, I believe. Yeah, I remember that, and I wasn't even a golf fan. I'm like, yeah, you stopped to watch it.
Tiger's putt, when you see the Nike logo drop on the downhill, it's either going to go in the cup or it may go in the water. I mean, that thing you never forget. You never forget. My boys were lucky enough to see a couple of neat things. You mentioned Sergio earlier, and the youngest one got to be early in the 18th hole. He decided it's going to be a good finish, not knowing who was going to win it. So he saw Sergio win it on the 18th. So that was, he said, a moment. It's a very emotional. He said the crowd is so much in love with golf. It's just an emotional moment. And even if you don't know the golfer personally, or even comes from your country, it's a story behind the story. And that's why he said the fans are the best there, and they respect the grounds. They do.
Well, I think, I mean, no matter what, I mean, the Masters is the one tournament that everybody, that's the one, period.
I believe that if you would survey everybody over 50 or 55, the bucket list item number one has got to be the Masters. I mean, everyone I've talked to, that's where they want to go. They want to be at a Masters. I had already lined up with my kids, if they'd stayed with the sports memorabilia company they were with, I was going to work in their warehouse one day just to get either a morning or afternoon pass, and that's how they worked it out. But they were always there, plenty of seven. And, of course, their friends knew that they were down there, so you can't get anything out of the pro shop Augusta unless you are on the grounds. So they would come out with 15 golf shirts, 15 t-shirts, 15 coffee cups, 15 visors, 15 hats. I had the green slouch cap that the caddies wear. I'm afraid to wear it. I don't want to get sweat on it, so I keep that up in my in my trophy case area. And but they were like mules in there, just carrying everything. But they always had a chance after their hard work was done to go back and just take a breath of fresh air. Here's a story that people won't believe because they hear it, and they got to believe that this can't be true. But they talked to a head groundskeeper. It's true. When you're there, and occasionally the mics are close to the hole, you'll hear birds chirping. Once in a while, you hear that nature sound like you hear in most tournaments. There are no squirrels and no birds on that course during that tournament. I don't know how they do it. The guy wouldn't give the secret away. No squirrels, no birds, unless they're over the no-fly zone. You will never have a bird or squirrel interrupt the play or anything like. You'll never find one. And the guy just winked at him and said, "We're not cruel." He said anything, but we just keep them away for the tournament. So there's not one on the grounds. They'd have fight them that day for 3 hours to find a squirrel and a bird. They couldn't find one.
So is the noise piped in?
The noise is piped in on the birds. Yeah, they got 3 or 4 indigenous birds from Georgia that they use. That they go, oh yeah, this is natural. Well, that's not really natural, but it's there.
They just keep the birds and
most
squirrels
people
away.
don't know.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that. But
Jay likes squirrel. He ate squirrel before.
What?
I was teasing.
No, I like squirrels. I mean, but that's incredible. And he just winks and he's like, "We don't hurt them, but you're not going to find them.
You're not going to find them." And the boys, every year they were there. That was one of their missions after they heard that story.
Yeah.
We're going to find one. They found a couple out of the grounds, but never on the course. Not one time was there a squirrel going up a tree or making any noise. No birds, nothing. So
that is crazy.
Yeah. The only birdies you're going to see, of course, are the ones on the golf course. I mean, in the hole.
Let's take a quick break. We'll talk more with Brad. Before we go to break, I will leave you with this Augusta National question.
Okay.
What is the course record in tournament play at Augusta National? And I'll give you multiple choice. Okay?
Okay.
What is the course record in tournament play at Augusta National? Now, I'm going to ask you a dumb question. What does that mean in tournament play? Does that mean it's just Thursday, Friday? Is Saturday, Sunday not that, or Saturday, Sunday tournament?
It means all right, so par would be, I think, 72.
Okay, so the best round ever?
So the best round ever, yeah.
Low score, yeah.
All right, do you want multiple choice?
Sure.
Okay. So again, the question is, what is the course record in tournament play at Augusta National? You have 61, which would be minus 11. 62 minus 10, 63 minus 9, or 64 minus 8. Don't answer it till we come back from break, because I'm going to put it on the Heritage Pub Facebook comment thread. Read something for me, my friend.
All right. Locally owned and operated since 1934, Tri-City Equipment is barely older than that putter. They've been your restaurant equipment and value place ever since, guys. Just kidding around. If you're looking to cater an event or maybe just something for your home chef, you can try them online at tricityequipment.com or stop down to 527 West 4th Street and talk to Kurt. Kevin or Tara and help them let you check out the 2,400 square foot showroom. Tri-City Equipment does offer delivery to all Quad City residents, and they match online pricing. So please call them today, 563-322-5382. Showroom hours Monday through Friday. That's Tri-City Equipment, 527 West 4th Street in Davenport. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Don't Hassle Us Local here on AM 1170. And all you out there watching live on Facebook, thank you as well.
We are troubleshooting here.
Yeah, troubleshooting. Right. If you're watching us live on Facebook, we're just trying to figure some things out.
Listening to it, too. There's a little dead air. Thanks for hanging out there on ESPN 1170 AM and also listening on the app and on your computer at ESPN1170am.com. And like T-Roy said, listening to us on Facebook and leaving comments on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread. We're getting a lot of love out there for you, Brad.
Yeah, look at that.
Got a lot of fans.
Yeah, you're like very popular.
Yeah. So like we talked a little bit about local stuff that we did, right? And so you've been to when we used to have the Hardy's Golf Classic. Now it's the John Deere Classic, all that stuff. So do you go to watch those?
Every year I try to make at least one day, yes. Saturday or Sunday usually. Mm-hmm. That seems to be the day I like to go. I saw Zach Johnson's playoff at TPC, which was nice when they had to keep on doing it again. We said, that ball's going in the water. They went back, played again. So we were real close. We were like right off the green. So that was kind of a neat moment to see Zach win that. And then saw Stricker's chip shot, which was famous too. That definitely would have been in the water if it didn't hit the cup. So
yeah. I was there for it. Wasn't the shot right before that? He was in the bunker on 18 off on the left, and the shot was amazing. I was really close that day. Got to see that. That was great. And then there was a 3-man playoff one year, and it was just packed. And I remember I rushed home because they started the playoff holes, and I'm like if we rush now, we can get home or to the bar, I should say, in time to watch it live. And I think we did. I can't remember who was in that, but then Spieth had that other great chip shot from the rough on 18.
Yep, there's been some great shots, and I was in my third pork chop when Stricker had hit that, so I about choked. But I do remember that clear as a bit. He didn't choke, that's for sure. So no, it's just fun, and I think we've got to support area things, and that to me is the success story. And you hear the comments, because I know a lot of volunteers that I grew up with that work the carts, work friendliness, the tents, whatever, and they get it every time about this is the nicest tournament. These are the pros and their wives who go to every tournament. These are the nicest people around here. So Quad Cities, take a bow, because that's our one thing that we're never going to let go of, hopefully, other than a COVID get us one year, but that's it.
Yeah,
we'll be back.
You got shot down last year, but we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Any other tournaments that you've been to that you can think of that kind of are memorable to you?
Been to a couple Western Opens at Butler and Medina. And the Dubs Dread one, after they finally went there, I think it was in the late middle 90s or whatever, and you can play, there's 4 courses on the complex. It's kind of cool. It's in Lamont, Illinois. And the Dubs Dread 4 is the one that they play the Western Open on. So much longer, so much tougher and all that. But I had to play it once, and I got humbled from the third hole on. But it was nice to, you always want to watch on TV, I'm sure you do it when you see TPC. Well, I birdied that hole one time. Of course, we were 60 yards up on a tee box, but it didn't matter.
Hey, it didn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We did it.
That's why they have different tee boxes.
Yeah, so I always try
different skill levels.
I try to play that game. Well, I played that hole one time to a birdie or whatever. So
we let JT off from the fringe. So what's your favorite Quad City course that you like to play other than TPC?
That's interesting. My dad, when he was a coach, Indian Bluff was a home course, so I kind of cut my teeth on that course.
There's a par 5 on that course that I think everybody in the Quad City hates.
12. 12 and 18 now is no bargain. With how they changed the tee box and the slope to the water. Not good. But I love that course. I think Byron Hills has made leaps and bounds going the right direction. And I remember when it was a 9-hole course. I remember when you first played the back 9, when they first put it, you still feel like you're in a farmer's field, and the sand and everything else, but it's really come a long way.
Byron Hills is one of my favorite courses, and really good people that own it out there too.
Yep. So those are probably my 2, that I really enjoy playing. And then in Chicago, when I got to work some years, my wife says, "I don't care how much you play up there, you're not home, so you can't do anything about it. So play up there." I said, "That's a great order to get." So
she just tells you to go up there.
Up there, or when I'm already working there, just don't take time away from her at home. So that was a good deal for me.
Now I met your wife.
Yes.
And she has a great nickname.
Which one?
Well, I hear they call her Lady Di.
Lady Di, yes. Yeah. In fact, our first license plate was Lady Di, because with the name of DYE, it's very easy. I was thinking Red Di number 2, but they didn't want to go with that, so we went with Lady Di. But unfortunately, when she passed, we changed it, so now our plates are 2 TWO Di 4. So that worked out pretty good.
Oh,
too.
That's awesome.
Yep, so
that's great.
Okay, before we went to break, I asked you a question, and that was, what is the course record in tournament play at Augusta National? Do you have an answer, Brad?
I'll say 62.
T-Ray.
I was going to say the same thing.
It is 63.
Wow.
And I don't know who hit it. I don't have that answer. But
You don't have the answer?
I can look it up. I would have done it during the break, but we're busy troubleshooting. It's all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
we'll figure
the
it
course
out.
record's 63, -9.
-9.
I think I could do that in Tiger Woods Golf on EA Sports on PlayStation 4.
It's a lot easier on PlayStation, but I don't think they actually. Here's the thing: I have not seen any of the video games ever allowed to have Augusta.
Oh, that probably makes sense.
So I doubt if you ever will. If they do, it's going to cost them
because it's not part of the PGA Tour.
Well, but but Augusta really holds on to that thing. It's theirs. They want it to be special.
I guess so. They don't even let birds and squirrels.
Well, yeah, exactly.
They remodeled the pro shop in 18, and my son said it's absolutely. I mean, you could be a kid in a candy store there for hours, and but you can't get it. They won't mail anything out to you, so better have somebody on the grounds.
Now, what was your probably lifetime favorite tournament winner? Or like event, like at Augusta, like the one person that won that, like it was the coolest thing you probably probably saw an earlier event that you thought.
Well, when he mentioned Nicholas, and I believe he was 46 when he did that, the last Masters win.
That was 86, right?
Yeah.
1986 he did.
And I think he was 46.
Okay.
To see him already written off for at least a few years, to see him come back that day, the emotion that came out of his pores on that, job well done, and he beat the Young Turks. And to me, I'll never forget that because my dad always loved Jack Nicklaus. So maybe I cheered for him vicariously.
All right, well, let me piggyback.
Tigers won in 2019 because it's kind of the same thing for me. It was I was a little too young to appreciate Jack as much as I should have. But the fact that Tiger, everybody's like, he's never going to win another major. He's never going to win another major. And all the stuff he'd been through, whether, good, bad, or ugly, to finally get back and get there. It was pretty cool, I thought. So with his mom and everything.
Yep.
Who's your favorite golfer of all time to watch, to cheer for?
I always cheered for guys that had bad swings. It made me feel good. So Furyk.
Yeah, Jimmy's got that hitch.
Stadler. Lee Trevino, I never thought. And to be honest, we all look back. If you're a purist, Arnold Palmer didn't have the prettiest swing either. So those kind of guys I always gravitated to because, see, you can hit the ball not looking great. So.
Did you ever hear the story about Lee Trevino that, when the golfers were just kind of playing all their warm-ups and doing their thing, you never wanted to play Lee for money, I heard.
They said he was a killer. Yep, absolute killer. Yet nicest guy in the world. Again, another guy that would just smile all the time, talk nonstop. We found him for a couple years out here, and he didn't stop talking the whole 18 holes. And then you look down the card, you forgot what he shot. He shot a 4-under. So there you go. I mean, that's the way he is. That's the way he was. He even was a friend of my grandpa who was in his 80s then, and walked over the ropes and right along the ropes and talked to him until he got to his next shot. So I just thought that my grandpa, his day was made because my grandpa had never played golf until he retired from John Deere, picked it up at the age of 63, and was just starting to really like it. And so Trevino just absolutely cemented that on that day.
Oh, nice. It's a great story.
Who's your favorite golfer now to watch, to cheer for?
That's a good question. I kind of like Speed. I think I've got to meet him, and he's just a stand-up guy. I like Dustin Johnson because I look at the ability there, and that's my dark horse, by the way, because pressure's off. You already won, like you guys know, so he can just let it go. So I would watch him this week too.
He's got just a great swing, and just like his emotions never change. Like he didn't break down until after even when he won it last year. Just a great dude.
Peter Jacobson I always had a soft spot for him too because he was just a lot of fun. He's just a lot of fun.
Now, I don't know the personalities of these guys or anything. You hear stories like no one likes Patrick Reed, and I don't know, Bubba's not the nicest, and Brooks Koepka punched somebody on a plane or something. But does Dustin? And I'm sure the competitive in anybody that's a professional athlete, anything. But do you think there's anything with DJ where he's just like he has to prove it because it was in November and it wasn't in April? Like I'm gonna get after it. And
I think he plays with a chip on that enormous shoulders of his, at his size and stature, and the fact he's got that Gretzky connection. I mean, all that. I think he's got something to prove every time out. So I think But going back to Speed, I got to tell you, we're at a restaurant, and when he was in town, and my wife and I walked over, and she goes, "Oh, no, don't do that, don't bother him." I said, "No, I've heard this guy's different." So I just go, "Justin, welcome to Quad Cities." Like the second year he was there, and thank you for coming. Really, he got up. He was just with a mostly golfer, so he had his hat on, took his hat off, and shook hands in front of her as a lady. Just the most polite guy you ever. So how could you not cheer for a guy like that?
Yeah. Did you say welcome to Quad Cities and handed him a Maid-Rite and a Whitey malt and said, "There you go"?
I don't, I'm supposed to name diners, but I know it was a little upscale from there.
I bet you were.
What about Louis Oosthuizen? That's my wife's favorite. She loves Louis.
A character he's what you see is what you get. Which are those? I like those kind of golfers.
Nice.
What you see is what you get. So, and you can have a personality and be a good golfer. That's not against the law. So I like that too.
You mentioned about the Masters and the bucket list. Where is it? I mean, I guess everyone would be Sunday, right? Or is there a better day that you would? You mentioned Wednesday's like the crazy time, right? The par 3 when they have it. But where would you pick if you had to do only one of 4? What would it be?
I would be happy with Wednesday. Just to be
one
there.
of 4. Wednesday's out.
Oh, I can't do it Wednesday?
No. Would you like to see the field on Thursday, Friday, or would you? I mean, what day would you rather see?
I'll go day 1.
I think Saturday, moving day, I think is one of the best days because usually if a guy's going to get back into it or just get hot, and that carries over 24 hours, I think Saturday's a really good day. I think you'll see some unbelievable golf. And if there was going to be a record broken, I'll bet it'll be a Saturday. Won't be a Sunday.
Really?
Yep, I believe that.
And the real reason I picked day one is there's always that one golfer that has a great first day, and maybe you can get out and follow them for a little bit, and maybe and like Jay said, everybody's there too, so you get to see everyone.
But if you ever get in the lottery to get a ticket and you end up getting the practice day, the par 3 day, don't shake your head. It's a good thing because they let their hair down. Their kids are there. They have fun. And it's if you've gone to spring training, especially the first few days, we used to go to Mesa all the time when Jim Fry was the manager for the Cubs. And I got to know them a little bit through horse racing in my earlier career. So I would go out there, and he would wave for me to come out on the field with Zimmer and him, and all they want to know about the tracks, how are things back in Chicago, how's Sportsman, how's Arlington, all that. But they're the nicest people. And all the my wife had the guts in 1984 to ask Dallas Green to pose for a picture, and that was the one guy you weren't supposed to mess with because he had that persona. Just don't. He looked at her, and she had, I'll trade my hubby for a Cubby T-shirt on. He goes, sure, honey, and came over and took a picture, was the nicest gentleman. So I said, okay, now we can do anything.
So she'd trade you in for a Cubby.
Oh, easily, even a utility infielder.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question about a golfer that I put in my top 10 at the Harrington's Pub Masters Pool. John Rahm.
The big Spaniard.
Well, okay. New baby, first-time father. He's not flying in until today. Is he going to be the new proud papa and make the baby proud, or is it going to be the effect of, hey, I've been through the delivery the past week and everything else in the room? What's going to happen?
He's been the matron of honor, or excuse me, the groom of honor, and the wedding party every single year. He's that close to winning one, and he's just an awesome, quiet, stoic guy. But he's my second pick whenever I'm in a contest or tournament. I always get what I consider the front runner, but Rahm is my second pick because he's always in the picture, always in the team photo.
And he is a big dude.
Now,
and Jay, and here's I know you don't believe this.
Yeah,
but he had nothing to do with that childbirth. Like, he was just there in the room. He had nothing to do.
All right, so this is this conversation we have.
I know that you feel differently about this.
Listen to me. And the conversation was, we know what it. Now look what happened to Joe Mauer when he had twins. The baby, it all kind of went downhill for him. Not downhill,
maybe it was
but it wasn't the peak.
Maybe it was the age, though.
It wasn't. No. All right.
Okay.
But you said Spaniard. I don't know what it's like in Spain, but I know maybe culture's a little bit different than here. Where here people take time off for.
Well, the first thing when the baby's born, the first thing that baby does is it runs with a bull.
Okay.
Yeah,
so he doesn't. He hasn't been like up all night, and
no,
he's not supposed
to. They threw that baby on the back of a bull.
Take paternity
and it ran down the
leave the way around here that we
totally
do things. All right, so I'm glad I put him in. I said, hey, I'm going with it. He's going to take the magic of childbirth and put it towards the magic of the game of golf.
Look at you.
That's how I put him in there. I was not worried about him at all with but it did cross my mind a little bit.
You got to rub the Sevi poster too. I mean, that's the first Spaniard that I kind of followed. So
okay.
Sevi Ballesteros.
Yeah. No. Do you have any traditions that you do while watching the Masters? Like, do you watch a certain place?
No, this year we're actually leaving for Florida tomorrow as we speak. Driving down at our own pace. So the guy we're staying with is a really good golfer. So I know he has certain things. So I plan on having a very nice afternoon, sipping whatever, and watching it on his patio. And he could break it down. He's a great color guy for golf. So I'll be able to listen and learn on that day. But that's
you'll be able to listen on the radio on the way down if you got XM or something like that. Usually they carry a golf the golf thing on that. So not to
and you've been following this for years. I really started watching more about 13 years ago, I would say.
Yeah.
And the coverage has got to be incredible the way it used to be. Now that you have your featured group, you have the Amen Corner, and it's featured holes, and then you have your regular. There's like 4 or 5 channels that you can get on DirecTV.
It was a lot like baseball, where baseball when the American National League were really separated, didn't play interleague. The only time they got together was the All-Star game, but it was one night. That's all it was. Now, how many nights is the All-Star game? The home run derby, this and that. So the par 3 has taken a life of its own, and in fact, they never allowed people in for a while. So I mean, that's where it's grown leaps and bounds. And you're right. The Masters, Augusta is so careful about their image, about everything else, that they do it perfectly. And it's an honor to be there as a spectator, as a golfer, as a TV guy. It's an honor just to be on those grounds.
Yeah, someone who I know is familiar with it, a friend of the show has been on before, Coach Lavelle. He said all the TV equipment used for the Masters is owned by Augusta National. So must be another thing. Like,
they don't let anybody take control of their because if they didn't own it, then they're letting them come in and put it wherever, and their people are setting it up, maybe messing something up. No, they're not taking a chance with it.
Did you hear any of the talk that people wanted the Masters or the sponsors to be pulled? They wanted their sponsors to be pulled.
As soon as the All-Star game controversy started and then the decision was reached, my only thought was, okay, this is going to trickle down. So it's got to be the Augusta in that same state. It's got to be the Olympics, which now we hear they got a committee to think about maybe not going to Beijing. So yes, I knew there'd be a little pushback, but I think the Masters might be a higher pedestal. I mean, just where they've made good inroads when it comes to hiring and everything else, and you don't hear many complaints out of Augusta. And so I'm thinking that they're going to survive. But you know what? I think there will be some pushback somewhere along the line. I'm waiting for the first name to maybe not play. I haven't heard that name drop yet, but that would be really sad if it happened. I mean, I hope that we don't let it creep into sports that bad, because it would be the wrong way to go.
If it does, I blame Keith Loberman and his stupid face.
He's on my top 3 list of the bad
stupid
way.
faces. Yeah. Crazy, buddy.
They question from Erickson on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread. Do you have any hole-in-ones?
No, I've hit flagstick many times. The flag, the actual technical flag where I got tangled up in it and dropped it. But no, I've never had a hole-in-one.
Well, yeah, that's everybody in this room.
Yeah, I know. No, not me. No, I haven't even had a dream about it.
Then Jeff Hersberg has like a baker's dozen. You know, that guy. He won't even share them. That's the thing.
That's my.
But you know what? I get to take him down in Golden Tee golf here in the next couple days, so I'm going to make him pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play Golden Tee golf?
This year, when we played maybe a few times, all my classmates, we all turned a magic age, where it's, most courses, I know it's 62 or 65, but we hit that magic age where we didn't have to wait long in vaccine lines and all that. So if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we did play gold just to see what it was like. I liked it for par 5s only, but I guess you shouldn't go back and forth. But I think that's where you get hurt if you're playing younger players. But I didn't like it on par 3s, and I didn't like it really on most par 4s. But if I could work out a deal with my sons, which I did one time, I used it on par 5s only, then it was a competitive match. But I can see, both ways. But we all agreed either all do it or no do it. So we all did it. And, yeah, my score was about 4 strokes better, so I guess that something to do with that.
All right, so obviously you're a Cubs fan.
Absolutely.
You've seen a lot, and and the World Series was a big deal. Your other sports you follow?
Yes, football. Can I mention on there? I'm a Green Bay Packer fan.
Yeah,
shareholder.
Are you? Okay.
Where my live game record, either home and away, is 18-6. So I think I bring them good luck. We try to pick out a date every year where they're on the road. New Orleans is our all-time favorite. We had our honeymoon there, so whenever they're there, and they are going to be there this year, so we're hoping for a favorable date there. But yes, my boys were 5-8 when they got their stock, so I follow football religiously. I think I was telling Troy this. I had 3 role models as a kid in 3 sports, and they never disappointed me. So hard to say that these days, but I had Ernie Banks in baseball. What a gentleman. He and my grandma became friends in Mesa during spring training. Bart Starr with a kicker of Vince Lombardi on the football end. And then in basketball was Jerry West. He had the most perfect jump shot, and he was still the logo. I know they might go to Kobe, and that's fine with me, but those are the 3. And I had actually my grandma stitched it in my pillowcase. I still have that pillowcase. 10 years old, and I aligned myself with those 3 guys. My dad approved and never got disappointed with those 3 gentlemen. So.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, you saw that the news that they're putting up a statue of Fergie Jenkins.
I think that's great. Fergie, in fact, I remember there was a trade. We got him with, I think, Philly, and then he went to Texas, and we got Madlock. And Madlock was one of my favorite hitters. I tried to emulate him playing in high school and college. I just loved Bill Madlock. But Fergie Jenkins was he outdueled Gibson on more than one occasion. And they actually showed a highlight last night of Billy Williams hitting a 10th inning homer off of Gibson. Oh, no middleman, no setup man, no reliever. No, it was Gibson in the 10th inning still throwing. And Williams had 10 lifetime homers against Gibson, the most ever. And so, but when Bob Gibson passed away, this was a tough year if you followed sports like I did as a kid. So many great people passed away. Elgin Baylor, who was Jerry West's sidekick. I can go through the list. Al Kaline. I mean, just great. Willie Davis for the Packers. I mean, Herb Adderley. Those are guys that I worshipped as a kid.
Awesome. Did you watch Aaron Rodgers on Jeopardy at all?
I did. And I knew he was going to be just a touch of snarkiness and a touch of, but he was good. And I love that when the returning champ knew he was dead in the water when he did the "why'd you kick the field goal" question. I thought that he handled it well. I know Rodgers wasn't happy either, but yeah, I will watch him again probably today. And yeah, I think he's a nerd about that show. I mean, if he would retire early for not physical reasons, that one might be the siren that calls him will be.
He's saying he wants to
got
do
the
it.
fit,
and he's going to marry an actress. I'm telling you, it might happen.
He already has the fit. He figured it all out.
Yeah.
I had yesterday. I gave the quote, but now I have the full quote.
Yeah. A lot of product on the hair, but that's okay.
He says he believes he can continue playing football while also hosting the show. So he said, "I don't think I need to give up football to do it. They film 46 days a year. I worked 187 this year in Green Bay. That gives me 178 days to do Jeopardy. So I feel like I could fit 46 into that 178 and make it work. It would be a dream job for sure, and I'm not shy at all about saying I want the job. That's how I went into it, and I want an opportunity to be in the mix."
Wow.
Well, as soon as the Packers draft another quarterback this year, he's got an option.
They don't need another quarterback. Jay.
You never know.
Why are you being mean to our
They
guests?
didn't need it yesterday. They didn't need it last year.
Careful what you say, because I'm going to be reserved about this. But let's just say, our guy on the sidelines now, Jordan Love, if he ends up being even modicum, just a decent quarterback, we're ahead of that division again and again and again. If he ends up being the real thing, then Bears fans, Vikings fans, Lions fans, I don't feel sorry for you.
I like your shot. I like the shot.
It's great. He
Tell
doesn't have a bad point.
Tell him who you have him take.
Well,
Packers
at
taking.
29, in my mock draft, I have the Packers taking wide receiver out of LSU, Terrace Marshall.
Terrace Marshall would be a good fit. I think he's shifty enough. He could play in the slot. That's the one position they need. They got a boatload of tight ends. One's 37 years old, Mercedes Lewis, and then there's Jagera, who only got to play a game last year, got hurt. He'll be good. Devontae Adams in a world of his own, and if he wasn't in Green Bay, that's all we'd be talking about in the league. But great receiver. But I would like a slot guy. That would be great. But I know how the Packers pick.
He's a speedster, too.
Oh, yeah,
Terrace is a speedster.
But they pick linemen, and with Bakhtiari coming out maybe a little late in the season because of his injury last year, I wouldn't be surprised if we get that ugly pick. But I did tell you earlier, I believe the Packers will either move up or move back, but they will not pick a 29. They've never stayed put since the new GM took over. So watch for a little wheeling and dealing as much as you
there's
can
some
do.
good tackles. It's a deep tackle draft
Great
this year.
tackles,
So if they
right.
need a tackle, which it's on their list.
And 4th, 5th, 6th compensatory picks for losing a couple guys like Balaga. So watch out. They got 10 picks.
Look at Brad go.
See? I mean, that's what I do. I bring good stuff into this. At least I try.
Did I not do it right?
Oh, by the way, I got to tell you, disclaimer, my favorite player of all time in football, Gil Sayers, just for the make the Bear fans happy.
All right, there you go.
Poetry in motion.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Well, man, it was great having you in, Brad. I appreciate it. Sorry that we had a little bit of technical trouble while you were here. It had nothing to do with you, I promise.
Well, I couldn't have helped in that category, so I'm glad you got it figured out.
All right, Jay, should we read an ad and then try to go to break, let you guys finish this off air?
No.
No?
No.
You don't want to? You just want to keep talking?
Yeah, give me a second. Oh, we can do something. It's yeah. No. Yeah, read me an ad real quick while I pull this
All
up,
right.
okay?
Front Street Brewery is the oldest brew pub in Iowa, and it's nestled right along the bank of the mighty Mississippi, serving Davenport since 1992 with great beers like the Davenport Gold, the Wise Guy, and the Raging River. Remember, you can check out their Facebook page for all their food and drink specials, or go to the webpage www.frontstreetbrew.com. That's Front Street Brew, restaurant 208 East River Drive, in the tap room in the Freight House Complex.
ZipRecruiter.com/BART. ZipRecruiter.com/BART.
Dinner just got a whole lot easier. Forget about grocery store crowds or figuring out what's in the fridge with HelloFresh. You just choose from over 25 chef-created recipes every week. Then you get a HelloFresh box at your doorstep filled with fresh, pre-portioned ingredients that in as little as 20 minutes become restaurant-quality meals. And giving yourself a break is back on the table. Go to HelloFresh.com/BART12 and use code BART12 and get 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's code BART12 at HelloFresh.com/BART12.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
North Carolina basketball coach Roy Williams announced he is retiring. Roy Williams, who is in the Basketball Hall of Fame, who had an extraordinary run at Kansas and now has won 3 national titles. He helped recruit and coach Michael Jordan, had great success there, and now goes to Carolina. He's someone that I've gotten to know really well over the years. He is a fascinating and really good man.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
This is Rich from Atlanta, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Blake Cottenheimer joined.
The Paul Feinbaum Show.
Weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
Well, the countdown is on to the 2021 NFL Draft.
Join me, Elle Duncan, Kevin Degani, full coverage of the first 3 rounds on ESPN Radio.
From key quarterback selections, the blockbuster trades, and instant pick-by-pick reaction from Mike Tannenbaum, Bart Scott, and Ian Fitzsimmons.
Don't miss a moment of your team's draft day decisions that'll shape the future of the franchise.
Coverage begins Thursday, April 29th, 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier has arrived on Disney+.
The world is upside down. We can't lose this fight, Bucky. If we do this, we're going to do it our own way.
Experience the 6-episode event.
Work partners, co-workers, not necessarily the team. No. We look damn good.
Marvel Studios' The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, now streaming only on Disney+. Saturday on the NBA on ESPN Radio. An injury-plagued Lakers squad finds itself right in the middle of a 7-game road trip that takes them to Brooklyn to face the Nets. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC.
Every Sunday night.
Beautiful night for baseball.
We see MLB's best wear hearts on their sleeves.
I can't wait.
Doing things you won't believe.
Hey, see ya.
It's baseball for all of us.
Santa Maria.
Phillies, Braves. Give us Sunday night baseball. Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell.
Hey, this is Bomani on the latest episode of The Right Time. I talked to my man Michael Smith about us getting old, and we'll talk about what's going on with Kevin Durant and how the state of Georgia got some things it needs to fix.
Welcome to the NFL Draft. You guys ready to get started?
Get ready to see where the next generation of NFL stars will go.
Welcome to the show and welcome to the next.
The 2021 NFL Draft. We've got all 3 days covered with exclusive access and expert analysis.
Talent-wise, guys, he's off the charts.
I think he's at
give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Max Kellerman Show. Max Kellerman Show on ESPN Radio.
Hey, LA Lakers got some help from the role players. The Max Kellerman Show on ESPN Radio and ESPN Plus. Kalen Horton-Tucker showing you why no deadline deals were made because everyone wanted him, and so did the Lakers. Give me a call at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. The Max Kellerman Show is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests, join me on the Goodyear Hotline. All eyes on the Falcons with the number 4 pick. I'm going to get to that in a few. By the way, the sheriff in the Tiger Woods car crash case said excessive speed caused the crash. And making the announcement Wednesday, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office said that Woods will not face any charges, and there were no signs that Woods was impaired at the time of the February accident. Woods' SUV was traveling between 84 and 87 miles an hour and was going 75 miles an hour when his car hit the tree, Sheriff Alex Villanueva said. Woods is recovering from severe leg injuries at his Florida home. You know, we've all been there in the car, and who doesn't speed sometimes? What was reported at the time was that was an especially treacherous stretch of road. And I don't know, I have not driven it, but I do know of I have been on roads, as we all have, where you're going, whatever it is, 75 miles an hour, and suddenly there's a turn where you really should be doing like half that speed, but it comes up on you suddenly, and I wonder if that's not the case there, because it's consistently reported like that is a dangerous spot in the road. But, that's just pure speculation on my part based on what people have said about where Woods has crashed. Beat said they can't put out a statement, but said on background that they've ended their relationship with Deshaun Watson. Instead, it can be Raj, what you've put in the prompter here sounds like I shouldn't be saying this on the radio. That sounds like background information. At any rate,
no, that's what's on the blip that I got. The news.
Well, that defeats the purpose. If Beat says if it's being reported that Beat says that they can't put out a statement on Deshaun Watson, but we could